a 2v2, but this 2v2 is an outrage. I checked the rankings on these players. Szalami is currently about 180th in the world in 2v2s. Meanwhile, his opponents are floating the 1k, the 2k, the 3k ranking range. Do you want to know why Szalami got this game? Because he decided to go get Lidakor. Oh boy, a wholesome, loving caster, Lidakor. However, it's a little bit scummy, gotta say it, because Lidakor is unranked in 2v2s. Which means that Szalami just gets an easy game, right? We'll have to find out. Hopefully not. Hopefully these guys are not going to be pushovers, but it is, of course, going to be Szalami playing as the French in the yellow. And Lidakor will be supporting him as a Rus in the green. Of course, he's got to play Rus. This guy loves to say the word. He even rolls his R's. I wish I could do that. Meanwhile, in the south, Rodura is going to be on the English, supported by Ferry Enzo on the French. I really love the French in 2v2s. I think they're incredibly powerful. You just have that flexibility to punish the greedy player, right? There's not really many civs that tempo control better than France. And usually in 2v2s, 3v3s, etc., one player is designated greed and one player is designated vanguard, right? In 2v2s, even more so. And usually, I'd say like the French players are the tempo setters on both sides. That's why both sides have France. Lidakor is probably looking for that kind of castle age rush timing. And the cool thing about this is I always look for these complementary matchups. And I think this is definitely like an example where you can highlight that, is that the French don't necessarily have to go for pro scouts or playing the scouts, because if Lidakor is playing the greed civ in this combo, and he goes towards pro scouts himself, and he's just churning out scouts, he should be able to afford enough additional gear to send over to his opponent's base so that he can focus entirely on military force. And then Lidakor can just rush up to castle. What's going to be intriguing is what he wants to do in castle. Of course, the last time I regularly checked out team games was, that was before the Rus horse archers got nerfed. So back then, obviously, the play was you let your Rus player get up to castle, and then he just gets pew-pew ponies. But pew-pew ponies aren't as desirable anymore. And it has to be said that you might come under some aggression, because while you have that kind of, in theory, scalability rushing castle, the other side does have a double tempo, right? You've got English and French. Both of these civs play hard into feudal. There is some flexibility where the French player can actually choose to tech up and go greedy themselves, but I would love to see both of these players just go hard aggressive and look to shut out one of their two opponents. And if, it wouldn't be an unexpected strategy as well, because if you look at these names from across the aisle and you know anyone in Age of Empires, you probably know both of these people. Lidakor, of course, from his streams, from his casts, like decent followership, so you probably noticed if you took one look in the Age of Empires section or followed Age of Empires for a few years. And Szalami, of course, you just look on the leaderboards. Something that is common when you get this mismatch where you're the lower ranked players up against the beasts. Usually what will happen is the unfavored, right, the pubbers will just essentially Zerg rush one of the two players to get an edge. So we'll see what they want to do. In the meantime, England is going to expand on the mill. Nice move out by Lidakor, though, to try and snipe a bunch of these out. Needs to be careful not to lose a scout, though. Remember, English villagers can fire. And that is why he probably can't hang around for the rest of the days. He already took too much damage from the TC by the looks of it. As it stands, Lidakor still looking healthy. Up at 225 bounty. This is one of the easy things about playing as the Rus in team games. If you're the only Rus player, especially, it's very unlikely you're going to get denied, right? Because the other civs don't want to play too hard in the scouts. You can just go full wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And like we said, it then has that ripple effect, that bounce back effect of... I was going to say that bounce back effect of playing in the pro scouts. Was this house intended? Is anyone else noticing something missing from Lidakor's woodline right now? A certain scout-producing building, perhaps. I don't know if this was intended. Okay, he's doing the hunting cabin now. I'm curious to know if this was intentional, though. Because it almost feels like he misclicked a house. Right? Because if you look at his pop cap, this was already there when he was around 15. This was a fairly early house drop. Yeah, I think he forgot. He definitely forgot. Oh, that's just brilliant. That's actually just brilliant. I love Lidakor. I mean, in fairness, if you were just quickly glancing at this being built, you'd be like, yep, that's the hunting cabin. But at some point, surely you would have clicked on this and tried to... Like, has he just been clicking on the house and pressing for a scout and not realizing nothing's being queued? Oh my god. Well, at least he fixed it in the end. Oh, no. It does mean, though, that he's not prepped on the Pro Scouts front. He hasn't got, like, a bunch ready to pick up. And also, it means he's missed out on a lot of additional hunting he could have been doing. He could have got so much surplus gold at this stage. So definitely cripples himself at this stage. But at least it makes things a little bit fairer. Like we said, Szalami, you know, he's definitely the strongest player in this lobby. He's the highest rank, even on the 2v2 leaderboards. The only one who's close, I think Ferry Enzo's about 1,200 in the world on 2v2s. And then his teammate, I think, was down at, like, you know, 3,700 or something. So this is a handicap, folks. Lidakor this wasn't a mistake. This was simply a fair handicap to keep the game balanced between the two sides. Round of applause for Lidakor. What a wholesome and lovely guy. How many, would you give a handicap like that over? I don't think so. And straight away into the wait, is he built stables to get the scouts now? I think he might have. I mean, it could be double night, right? Because you got Rus and French. At the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if this is just catch up for the scout count. Nah, it is the night. Interesting, he didn't, like, interesting, because he queued up the scout here. He could have had it out of the stable and then switched to the night afterwards, but this should still be fine. I mean, there's definitely damage done. Like, he only has 2 scouts in the field at almost 6 minutes into the game. But as it stands, I think he's the only one who's gone pro scouts. Yeah. Oh, wow. Interesting. So Enzo is looking to double up on his timing around the 8-minute mark with aggression. So instead of going pro scouts, he actually goes for survival techniques after building out onto the deer. Remember, that's one big advantage of Altai is you start with one deer stack really close to your base. So pro scouts is less required. Like, it's not as like, oh, I absolutely need it to access deer. It's just parked on the edge of your base a lot of the time. And also another hunting cabin. So, wow. I mean, this is the ripple effect, right? Because Lidakor, now, maybe he's a vegetarian. That's a possibility. But I think really what happened here, folks, is because he got pro scouts and didn't have enough scouts. He didn't preemptively start dragging the deer back, which meant that he had to resort to going on the berry bush line. And that's a costly error as well. Because remember, these hunting cabins aren't cheap for the roost. They cost 100 wood. And then there's also the construction time. Like, overall, this is a little bit of pain. Lidakor now has to go across the gold as well. And that's another thing, like, instead of shifting the TC, it's extra walk time as well. Like, all this hurts. I seem like I'm focused on Lidakor a lot, and I feel bad about it. But here's the most notable detail in this early game, really. Like, the other side, you know, England's just playing England. Enzo's just playing, you know, that pocket eco France. With the unorthodox maybe going into survival techniques, but everything else is standard. Lidakor's definitely given us something to talk about in the first few minutes of this game. It's got to be said. At least he's now getting the deer. The concern is actually now this indirectly cripples Szalami. Because Szalami, you notice he didn't even shift across onto the deer line because he's expecting a delivery, right? It's the end of the month and his pay is due. And if Lidakor doesn't cough up soon, he might just sue him. So Lidakor needs to be quick to get himself enough deer and then move across and do the same for Szalami. Good news, of course, Lidakor will be able to catch up because of this right here. Another advantage of playing the Rus in team games. You almost always get your bounty unlocks. And then, you know, it's just the additional gold as well. As you think about this stage of the game, having an extra 500 resources is insanely valuable. Well, it looks like that is going to be, yeah. So I just had to check that was in range. That is going to be buffed up, getting that extra 20% drop off. Now we can look at something else. I'm sure the Lombo boys are doing something different. Yep. 4 on stone. Radura is looking to play into a secondary TC. So I think the intent here is to have Enzo play the hyper-aggressive. And then Radura's going to take like a backup option, right? Where he's able to scale off of multi-TCs as England. However, you do need to be careful of this. Szalami's riding in. It takes a while to arrive, but when he does, there's a lot more knights here. And only 2 spearmen, but it's enough to scare away Szalami. This is a beautiful choke point, by the way. Radura has a ridiculously defendable location. If he just small walls here and then small walls here, there's no really easy way in, right? Like, even here, you have to go around the choke points. He has a ridiculous amount of natural defenses forward of his base, which means that England is a lot harder for you to extract value out of, and that's not a good feeling when you win double knights. And these knights are riding in. No palings coming out from Radura. Missed opportunity. Spearmen are going to arrive. A little bit delayed, though. That buys enough time for Lidakor to back away. However, remember, any damage done to him is permanent. He can't repair it like the French. And Szalami says, goodbye. Don't care about the spears. Oh, they turn their backs. They get hit by the lances again. The spear's already gone. And this is bullying now. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to report these lads. Enzo's going to try to get some payback, though, as he rides in with his own vanguard. However, Lombo line is going to be struck. And then they'll move into the villages to cause some problems here. And you have to wonder, should Radu have had more spears here? Could he use the palings? He had these choke points. Should he have walled up? There's so many what ifs, maybes. But instead, we're going to focus on what Enzo's doing. He wraps around. He sees Szalami. Szalami did get the textiles. So he will protect a decent amount of these villagers, but he's still going to lose a few. However, he is able to... Wait, what? Where are you going with that? Oh my god, Lidakor stealing. Taking the food right out from underneath the jaws. I don't think that the faces of poor Szalami's villagers here. Even built a mill for this, and he's being yoinked by his own teammate. This is griefing. Oh, Lidakor about to turn coat and reveal his player. He's on team 1. I can't believe the way this is playing out. Oh, Szalami has at least got enough knights back here to scare Enzo now. In the meantime, it looks like most of them have actually just pushed back. Yeah, they aren't assaulting anymore. In fact, wait, what happened to... No. No. Where's Lidakor's... Did he lose all the knights? I think he only has 1 knight left. He lost the rest of them. They hung around too long. However, he's now teching up. He's going to be the first one to do so. Meanwhile, no secondary TC out road. Dude, look at the stone! Oh my god. Has he even noticed he's still got stone gathering? I think he wanted to go for a second TC, but then he got scared when he lost the Lombos and Spearmen. So he doubled down on that front instead. Oh, this is crippling. He's got so much stone. It's like Lidakor. We'll continue with the high trade house. No more deer yoinking. Szalami right now thinking with friends like this, I don't need enemies. Lidakor giggling to himself right now. We'll move out for the neutral deer instead, which is admittedly what he should have been doing. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say what happened is he was killing the deer and he accidentally picked one up. And after that, Szalami has told him to go screw himself and has decided to start shooting the deer. He's like, no, you can't have the gold. I get the food, you get the gold. You broke the agreement, now you get nothing. Oh, what? Rudy's going for the stone walls. Okay, this, I mean, we need to see something cheesier way back in. Lombo's going to be a pain in the ass. Enzo has got the knights out in the field to assist. Szalami with only 7 military. Meanwhile, Enzo up at 13. It's going to be a problem. Stone wall crawl is about to begin, and it will look cruel. Even building into the stone wall tower will deny him on the forward wood line, and Szalami has nowhere else to go for wood. So Lidakor needs to save him. He needs to do it soon. Tech up has, of course, been completed. He is up in castle, and that's why they feel confident striking here. They're all in. They're building the rams as well. Lombos are on the wall. That'll scare away Szalami's knight battalion. And no pressure in their base. More pocket ecos coming out from Ferry Enzo in the meantime. Ferrying out more of these knights and always staying ahead of Szalami. Szalami, who hasn't left himself the wiggle room for a tech up, but now doesn't really have the infrastructure to build up the military force either. Because any knights pushed out here could get jumped, especially if this outpost goes down. And it's Enzo dropping the outpost. It's not even an English outpost here. Well, they feel confident. Ram almost complete. Now it's going to be walls coming out from Enzo. I love this play. I think England, yeah, the villagers are firing on the walls. I was about to say, did Rodrigo lose his villages? Is this why the French player is doing it? But no, he's just not building it himself. He's like, yeah, we got arrows, woo! Ram moving in, trying to deny the military infrastructure. Szalami wrapping around onto the villager now. We'll butcher him, back away. Stonewall Tower is problematic right now. Lidakor is building into the Mangonels. Trip archery range is going to be the horse archers. Makes a lot of sense on these big fat maps because 1v1s, static armies is a bit more desirable. Can be useful, but when you're talking about 2v2s and above, that map, it just turns into a Leviathan. Just look how far you'd have to go to cross it. Moving in with the knights as well. You need to burn down the stables quick. Double ram now, and this is looking somewhat worrisome because even with the Mangonel play, even with the horse archer play, like, how do you defend the Mangonels? And what's it killing? Because longbows are taking reduced damage on walls, and now you have this knight buffer that can chase you down. This is really scary. And the targeting on Szalami is perfect. His base is so naked, it's so thin. If they went for Lidakor, they'd waste so much time going through infrastructure, but this way, they can annihilate that dynamic force that can flank and attack their Lombos and Rams. And now they're attacking everything. Skull Cavalry down, stables down. Szalami rebuilding in the back, but he needs help. It's imminent. Horse archers are not going to be good enough. Knights in the meantime continue to burn through onto the houses now. New wall occupied by Rodieu. He builds the walls up in the end. And now you need to be careful. The horse archers, because they're getting a bit peppered with arrows. There aren't going to be as much horses as there are going to be porcupines with the amount of arrows sticking out of them. Rams in on the primary TC. Knights are going to peel off into the range of the Lombos. Szalami needs to hold here, needs to dress the Rams, turns around for them now. But he's going to be engaged, forced to fight here. The count is fairly even, and that means that Enzo might have the edge with the assistance of the Lombos from up high, but needs to be careful about the way he's microing. Rams once again being target now. Szalami changes target. The Horse Archer army being nullified somewhat. But our difference maker here. 12 damage is a lot up against these 4 missile resistance Knights, and you're really seeing the difference here that the Horse Archers can make. The Rams once again in. Mangonel's now targeting. Outpost never got completed. More Rams to be built. More Knights coming in. They know if they don't end it here, it's going to end the other way. And these Lombos, I mean, they're dishing out a decent amount of damage. Nothing that's feeling too permanent right now. Remember, they only hit for 7. So only 3 damage after the mitigation coming out for the Royal Knights. The Rams just trying to waste Salami's time all the while. But he is starting to build a lead. In fact, when we look at it, we can see Enzo at 19, Szalami at 15. But his Knight count is looking mighty healthy because all the while, look what Enzo has to do. He has to run them across the field. And oh my god, please tell me. Yes, he has got Chivalry. I was getting worried for a second there. It's because you have to be on him to see the pluses. But he's min-maxing those Knights, trying to make sure he doesn't give the lead over to Szalami. TC's going to be targeted again. I mean, these Lombos, these towers, they do some damage over time. And it's going to be a 4 archery range. Radu's like, fine, more walls, more Lombos. We're not leaving. And you don't have a way of making us. And it's true as well. Think about the Mangonel factor here. 9 tile range. These Lombos have 9 tile range. So as soon as you're in range to attack them, they can attack you. In the meantime, they're going to heal up the difference between fights with the campfires. And then also keep in mind that they get reduced damage on them, courtesy standing on those stone walls. But more Rams it is. Radu is floating a lot of resources. Nobody else checking up. This game really is going to end in Castle. With, well, rather, only one player in Castle. 3 in Feudal. One way or another. Experience. They at least have the range advantage. They won't be sniped by the Lombos. And now it's the Trip Ram. Meanwhile, Enzo's going to wrap around for the thank you, man. He wants to go straight into the eco line of Szalami, working at the back of his base. I mean, Szalami, he's definitely being crippled here. Struggling to find the places he can gather food. In fact, where has he gone? Where? What he's got 54 eco. Where? Oh, they're over here. There we go. I lost him for a sec. I was like, I couldn't see him. They're naturally camouflaged behind the windmill. Still feel like this isn't the full eco, though. I'm trying to math this out. Yeah, he's still missing 24 villages. They must be somewhere in... There it is. I was about to say, I couldn't see him on the map. It's because they're on a gold line as a gold player. Makes sense. The Knights are going to force him away from the wood line, but there's going to be a response coming out from Szalami now. And all the repairs done. I mean, this damage is just... It's not working. They pulled back the Rams again. If they can build it to like 8 Rams, they might just be able to insta-burst it down. And if it ever dies, Szalami's insta-out, and these Knights won't be able to assist anymore. I think you need to be a little bit careful here. Szalami's about to wall himself away from his base. And they're going. Uh-oh. You need to delete that wall. There'll be an attack. Mangonels are going to snipe them, though. You need to be careful with this Knight count. The Rams are moving! Radu! What are you doing? A slight miscommunication has occurred here. This is very scratchy head. Also, 2 players between them with 1,700, almost 1,800 stone, and no way of using it because they don't have Castle Age still. This is insane. If Rodeo just quickly teched up, he could drop a forward keep and he could end this game, but instead now they're starting to be pushed away. The Mangonels are riding out alongside the Knights. And these Knights are going deep. They're looking for targets. They're going to find the straggler Longbowmans in the tree line. A little bit hesitant to engage. And finally, the tech up is there. And it's Enzo getting the edge. Oh, this could be big. If he gets veteran Royal Knights before this engagement occurs, Szalami is in deep doo-doo. And Szalami, remember, he can't afford to tech up himself. He's going to trade for it, though. He can afford gold, but that is it. He's running out of food. Rams going to renew the push. If they can just brute force this and push Szalami out this game, Lidakor will fold in the blink of an eye. Knights need to be a little bit careful, though. Mangonels are far forward. They'll just target them. Here he is. They'll move in. They're being body blocked by the Horse Archers, though. They just stand their ground. 1 Mangonel down, 2nd to fall. And they even go for the Springwood as well to ensure the Rams can do their business. Very Enzo, he's got the upgrade. Veteran Royal Knights have been achieved, and he'll turn around on the TC now. The wrap in. Szalami with the charge in. Backstabs him. In for a penny, in for a pound. They either end Szalami now or they end to him. And the villagers are riding across, trying to address this. There's no way for the Knights to attack them. He's pinched. The Longbowmen moving in. They need to assassinate the village. They need to do it right now. They'll target them out, but there's so many here. 12 villagers working to keep this town center up. The Rams trying to do what they can. Only 2 of them, though. Where was the third? I think it got burst. This is the problem. The Lombos. I don't think they're doing enough damage. They're going to be cleaned up. I think it's done. They can't get rid of Szalami. Szalami will hold. Lidakor and Szalami now in dominant position to turn this game around, despite the fact that both their opponents are castled up, because they are the ones with the Knight count. Oppressed for so long, but Szalami with such patience. The patience of a packaged sausage here. Waiting to be cooked, but he will not be cooked on this day, no. Instead, he will turn around and uber clap them out of this as he understands when he has the edge, instantly riding across the field towards his opponents. Wait, no. What? The TC? The TC, they're not repairing it quick enough. Oh my God. Enzo's not targeting the TC though. Oh my God. Have they recovered this? Yeah, he's good on the wood. Wait, they haven't recovered the Rams. The Rams! They need to get quick. One more round might do it. Oh, they just about get rid of the Rams. Oh my God, that was too close. Szalami jumps the guard, gets a little bit excited, but luckily, Lidakor is there to wipe baby's boo-boo for him. And he will stay alive. Oh my God, my heart. That was so close. You could see they understood as well. They're like, yeah, we can get it. We can do it. Oh, yeah, yes. But no, Szalami stays alive. A miracle has occurred this day for all sausage kind, as he will not be going to the meat factory. Instead, he turns it into a meat grinder for Team 1. However, Team 1... Wait. Szalami? What? Where are they? What? What happened to the Knights? Where are they all? Oh my God, he lost so many of them. And they've done like nothing. Oh, but Lidakor, he's imperially aging up. But can they? But they could still come back. No, there it is. Okay, I lost them for a second. I was confused. I was scratching my bloody head. I couldn't even see him. They are still alive. And the tech up's coming out from Lidakor. And they've actually surrendered over. He can't take any more of it. Enzo feels like he's reached his end here. He got butchered on the forward gold line. No economy left to work for him. He will tap out. Rudio will take his time. But in the end, after a long siege, Szalami and Lidakor can emerge from their base, take a deep breath of fresh air, and scream victory.